I lost 50 pounds of stubborn body fat for good, and I've kept it off for years. I used to be so unconfident within myself, but now I can definitely say that I'm the most confident I've ever been, the fittest and strongest I've ever been too. So in today's video, I'm going to tell you the 8 steps that I would take if I were to try and lose that 50 pounds of body fat again, but to do it in the fastest, most sustainable way possible. And if you're watching this video, you probably aren't aware about number 8, so stay tuned for that one. Hit like and subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get into how you're going to get yourself feeling amazing and lose that unwanted body fat this year. So the first step to successfully losing some body fat is knowing exactly how many calories you need to be eating for fat loss. And there's plenty of ways to do this nowadays, but I made it super easy for you guys. If you check in the description box below, you will see there is a link for my calorie calculator, and you can just go onto this and input some very simple information about yourself. And then what it will tell you is exactly how many calories you should be eating for your goals. Just make sure that you give a realistic kind of estimate of how active you already are. And then when you input your name, your email address, and you select your goal, then you will be emailed everything. So now you can see here, I've got a nice breakdown of everything that I need to know for what my body needs in order to lose body fat. And that is the starting point. However, the next steps that follow are actually important to put this knowledge into use to actually see your fat loss progress start to come to life. So obviously, when you know how many calories you should be eating, you've got to be able to measure the quantity of the food that you're eating accurately. So I would learn how to track my calories, how to do it accurately, and I would do it consistently. I'd weigh out everything, track it into MyFitnessPal before it enters my mouth. And then make sure the foods that I'm eating are high volume, low calorie density, nutrient packed, protein packed foods. For instance, like this big ass salad, which has got lettuce, cucumber, tomato, pumpkin, tofu, vegan mince. Like, this is full of nutrients and it's the size of my head. This is going to keep me full for so long. Not only that, but I would opt for some 0 calories, 0 sugar soft drinks or diet sodas, whatever you want to call them. These are going to, again, distend your stomach and send signals to your brain to tell you that you are full. Obviously, you only have 1 or 2 of those a day, because if you have more than that, that gas is going to have to go somewhere and it's not going to be pleasant for anyone. But this is how you can eat low calorie, good foods, give your body the health nutrients that it needs, and burn body fat without having to suffer. Tip number 3, I would make sure that I'm hitting the gym at least twice a week to build muscle, ideally up to 3 to 4 times. The reason why is because muscle is more metabolically active tissue. If I were to lay down flat on this floor, if I had more muscle, I would burn more calories. Then the other thing is, whilst you're training, you are going to be burning more calories. And not only that, but the afterburn effect means that you're going to be repairing and recovering your muscle tissue, which uses calories as well. And finally, building muscle means that it increases some of the hormones that allow us to live a little bit of a healthier and happier life, and keeps body composition in a good spot, keeps fat a little bit lower. These hormones are like growth hormone, testosterone. So lifting weights, building muscle, if you genuinely want to have a body which is less likely to store more body fat, it is essential. The next thing I would do is track my steps. I would make it part of my daily routine to get outside, to get some steps in. And if I can't get outside, then I'd make sure that I can have access to a treadmill, or whilst I'm at the gym, that I'm going to be doing more steps. The beautiful thing is, no matter where you are, you can even do steps at home. If you search Get Fit with Rick, then you'll find there's at-home step workouts. The point is, the more that you move, especially when it's low intensity, steady state exercise like this, it is not going to fatigue you. It's not going to make you feel more tired. You can multitask, like I can respond to messages, emails, listen to podcasts, listen to music. This is precious time where you can develop yourself, and guess what? It burns calories too. If you're wondering how many steps you should be getting in, if you don't walk much, or maybe you know that you could be doing more, I'd definitely go for 10,000. That's going to mean that you're certainly expending a lot of energy through walking. And to be honest, it is the very bare minimum that I would expect someone who is striving to be active would be able to hit within their day. If you already do over 10,000 steps, then what I would recommend is set a minimum target. So for instance, I've set my minimum target at 14,000. That's typically how many steps I will do on an active day. If I notice that my fat loss progress starts to slow, then what I will do is I'm going to increase my minimum target up to 15,000 or 16,000. And that way, because you're tracking the data, you can always adapt it and increase your targets to do more over time, burn more calories over time, increase the size of your calorie deficit over time, and lose more body fat over time.
People who sleep 6 hours or less per night are 30% more likely to be overweight or obese compared to those who sleep 8 hours plus per night. The reason why is because people who don't sleep much are going to be at risk of cravings. They're going to have higher cortisol levels. Cortisol is our stress hormone. And actually having higher cortisol levels blunts your ability to lose body fat. So not only are you messing up your hormones by spiking your stress hormone, which then also, because you're tired, is going to lead to an increase in hunger hormones. Your body doesn't know any better when it's low in energy. It's going to tell you, hey, look at that highly palatable sugary food. We want some of that to actually increase our energy levels, but it is certainly no substitute and will never substitute good quality and restorative sleep. So if you're not sleeping 7 to 8 hours a night as a minimum of good quality sleep, that's not time in bed, that's time actually asleep, then you are just going to be ruining your chances of actually being able to lose body fat. So you might want to be looking at what you're doing in the bedroom before anything if your sleep quality is poor. And you can track your sleep so many different ways nowadays. I use my Whoop band, which means that it is constantly measuring my heart rate and it's telling me what stage of sleep I'm in. You can even download apps onto your phone like Sleep Cycle, which records the sound of your breathing to tell you what stage of your sleep cycle you are in. And that way you'll know how many hours of restorative sleep you've had, how much time you spent awake, and you will be able to guarantee that you are being way more accurate with getting the right amount of sleep that you need. A simple tip that I advise all of our clients to do is set a bedtime alarm. Set an alarm 90 minutes before you should be asleep. So let's say if you went to fall asleep at 10 p.m. to wake up at 6 a.m. so that you got 8 hours of sleep, you want to set that alarm at 8:30 to tell you, right, now I need to start getting ready for bed. Maybe you go brush your teeth, have a shower, and then by 9 p.m. you are ready to fall asleep. So you're in bed reading, journaling, meditating, no devices, no screens. You're just getting ready to wind down and fall asleep. And that's going to prime you to have an amazing 8 hours of sleep. So start sleeping more and you will sleep your way to faster fat loss. What about scale weight? Should we take it? Should we use it? Does it mess with your head? Yes, you should be taking your scale weight reading, and I would recommend taking it every single day. The reason being is because that way we've got a much more accurate weekly average, which we can compare week to week, because to be honest, the day-to-day scale fluctuations don't really tell us anything and they don't really matter. What matters is our week-to-week average, where we should see a trend downwards. Now, if you are someone that thinks that they might get hung up on this, I would certainly recommend using an app such as Happy Scale, because it's really useful to see visually those trends over time. Remember, the number on the scale is just a tool. We've got plenty of other tools that we can use to measure progress, like progress photos, like taking our waist and hip measurements, how our clothes fit. But ultimately, seeing the scales go down on average over time is going to be a really useful way to be tracking if you're progressing with fat loss at the right rate. So, the disputed argument of cardio. How much cardio should we do? Do we even need to do cardio to lose body fat? Well, I'll tell you no. You could lay horizontal on the floor and be in a calorie deficit and still burn body fat. So, do you need to do cardio? No, but I really regret not doing cardio when I started my fat loss journey. The reason being is because cardio gives you a healthy and happy heart. And if you don't have good fitness levels, then it feels pretty pathetic to have a body that looks good if you can't actually run and move and train and breathe like a human that is able to be fit and healthy. So yes, you should do cardio. And I would recommend doing somewhere between 30 to 60 minutes per week to start off with. And it could even be as simple as getting on this bad boy for 10 minutes after your training session. But definitely I would do cardio and I would include it from the start. And lastly, number 8, the most important and one that a lot of people don't think about. It is investing into accountability. Now that could be literally just giving one of your friends or one of your family members a set amount of money and saying, I'm going to give this to you and I want you to hold on to it until I reach my goal. And that way, you know that you've technically placed money on you being successful. I'd say something even more effective is to actually give away money. It could even be to a charity. It could be something that's a really important cause to you, but to commit to giving away money to someone or something along the journey until you reach your goal. Because when money or something that's very precious to you hangs on something, it changes the game of investment. You could, as many people will do, invest into a coach or a personal trainer. You know, take a look at our clients, for example. These women have literally achieved their goals 10 times faster than I did before I actually invested into someone, because they've said, okay, not only am I going to seek expert guidance and therefore be able to do things faster, but they've also invested money into the process. The longer that they have to do the process for, the more it costs them. And ultimately, if you are giving away your precious resources in terms of time, effort, energy, but money in particular, it changes the game. I promise you, you'll make a hell of a lot faster progress if you're paying towards something than if it doesn't really matter that much in terms of your resources. And if you are someone that wants the clarity, you want the direction in terms of knowing exactly what to do and maybe where you're going wrong, maybe you're like listening to all of this and you're like, I've been doing most of these things except for number 8, because most people don't do number 8. If you feel like you're still really stuck when it comes to actually having the right protocols and the right plan of action for you, then I'm really happy to do a little bit of a fat loss audit for you. So just head over to my Instagram, Millie_TeamCBM, that's Millie, Millie, and I will do a fat loss audit for you if you send me the message fat loss audit. So just DM me, hit follow on Instagram, and I will get back to you with some personalized advice after I ask you a few questions about maybe why things aren't quite going your way. And if you have enjoyed this video, please smash the like button, hit subscribe for me also, because there's going to be plenty more educational content just like this coming your way. So wishing you all the best of luck in your journeys, guys. But as I said, if you're stuck, if you're struggling, then just hit me up on Instagram. Peace. Catch you in the next one.